Howdy. We've done it, guys. We have made it to warm weather. Phoenix, Arizona. I'm actually in the mountains outside of Phoenix, so it's not exactly warm. Last night it still dropped down to the mid-30s, which isn't the warmest, but it's also a lot warmer than the other areas I've been camping earlier on in the trip. So anyways, it's bright, it's sunny, it's beautiful now. I'm wearing a t-shirt. As you guys can see, I finally deployed my awning for the first time of this entire trip. I ended up spending like 4 nights in Sedona total at the same camp spot. When you're on the road and you find these areas where there's like a little community and you integrate into that community and you become friends with the people around you and you're kind of just acting like you've known each other your whole lives, it's hard to leave that, you know? It's really hard to leave that, especially when you're in such a beautiful area like Sedona. And then from there, we headed down here to Phoenix, and here we are. As much as I enjoy traveling in solitude, my time in Sedona reminded me that it can be equally, if not more enjoyable, to be surrounded by other like-minded folks doing a similar thing as you. Just like everything else, I think it's best when you find that perfect balance between the two. One rather melancholy but also strangely beautiful aspect of being on the road is just how fleeting relationships can be. People come into your life seamlessly, and just like that, they're gone. Some bonds can be forged to remain intact into the future, but others fade quietly into the distant past, just like dwindling landscapes in the rearview mirror. On my way down the mountain, I passed through this little strip of town reminiscent of old Clint Eastwood westerns. I wasn't looking for the Dutchman's lost gold, however. I had my sights set on another treasure. Hey there, good, how about you? I'll do a single scoop of chocolate chip cookie dough, please, in a cup. According to a sticker in the general store, Tortilla Flats, right here, is the last standing stagecoach stop on the Apache Trail. And I got some chocolate chip cookie dough ice cream in there. It's a pretty neat little town. The Wild West is alive and well in Tortilla Flat. So is the ice cream. That was some really delicious ice cream. If you're ever in Tortilla Flat, highly recommend the ice cream, especially the cookie dough. Woo. I had a feeling I'd regret not bringing my paddleboard. So that over there is the Superstition Mountains. That's where we'll be hiking tomorrow. Look at these dudes. You tell them, Kaya. So we ended up going to a paid campsite after all. There wasn't really much dispersed camping in the area, but that's okay because this is a really amazing camp spot anyways. As you can see behind me, there is spectacular views in every direction, and there's also like barely anybody else camping here, which is pretty surprising because last night when I got into this area, it was completely busy, and all day today it was also extremely busy. And the best part is we're like 8 minutes from the trailhead that I'll be hitting up tomorrow for the hike. So it's all good. It's all good. Well, I guess we'll go walk around a little bit, do a little exploring before the sun starts to go away. Just our luck. There's a trail right next to the camp spot. So I really have no idea any of the information about this trail. I don't know what it's called, how long it is, where it goes. Nothing. I just saw a sign for a trail. We're following it. It looks like it just kind of goes maybe up and around this little mountain here that's right behind my camp spot, which is pretty perfect actually for what we're looking for. Just a little jaunt before it gets dark. It's so cool out here. So different than what I'm used to in the Northwest. Just giant saguaro cacti everywhere and desert shrubs. Not a pine tree in sight. I feel like I have to be a lot more careful with Kaya out here in the desert, because there's most likely a lot more things out here that could harm her than back home in the Northwest. Between all of the spiky cacti to, you know, rattlesnakes and scorpions and I don't know what the heck is out here in the desert, but they always say everything in the desert's trying to kill you. Certainly a little bit of an adjustment. Let's see. Okay, so I'm on the Desperado Trail right now. And if I go out that way, it's the Saguaro Loop. Or if I continue up this way, it is, also the Saguaro Loop. So I guess the Saguaro Loop starts and finishes right here. So let's just go ahead and do the little loop. My goodness, I'm not even gonna have to go hike tomorrow. There's freaking spectacular views right here, all around. Just kidding, I'm still gonna hike, but wow, this is such a cool park. If you guys are curious what this place is called, it's the Peralta Regional Park. As we continued to hike around, the glowing sunset turned the scene into a surreal dreamscape, and I couldn't help but to feel a deep gratitude for my decision to come spend time in this unfamiliar land. Check out the old thermometer. It's 45 degrees right now. It's toasty. It feels nice to be comfortable and just chilling with no heater or anything. This is probably the first time on the entire trip that it's been this warm at night. Holy moly. Fortunately, there's a super popular trail in this area that's pretty much like the main hike, and it seems like that is what the big crowd is here to hike. And according to my research on all trails, this hike that I'm on is far less crowded and it has equal, if not better views. Either way, it's gonna be a good hike. And total round trip, it's about 9 miles. Not too much elevation, about 1,500 feet elevation gain. So it's gonna be a good workout, but nothing too crazy. Whoa, almost just fell. flat surface I gave you, sorry. So the trail is gonna go up and around that little mountain there. We're gonna kind of ascend a little bit, and then we're gonna wrap around on the other side and then ascend some more mountains when we get to the other side there. Hiking through the desert surrounded by cacti under a blue cloudless sky was exactly what I needed to charge up my battery before heading back up to the rainy Pacific Northwest. We're about halfway done with the hike, 4.5 miles in, and it's been smooth sailing from here. We already did the majority of the elevation, and the elevation really wasn't much at all. So the rest of the hike should be very easy peasy. But we have, for the last, I don't know, mile or so, reached this kind of boring little stretch of the trail where there's not really much around. It's just kind of relatively flat. There are cacti around, but that's a given out here. I don't think you could go anywhere where there's not cacti. It's a very dry trail so far too. There's a spring that we kind of hiked along a little bit, but that was all dried up, so. So over there in the distance, that is Miner's Needle. Quite the impressive rock formation. There she is. Good job, pup. Good job. Good job, puppy. Oh, she is pooped. There you go. So according to my AllTrails app, we logged just under 10 miles, 9.79, 1,478 feet of elevation, and 4 hours, 17 minutes was the total time. This little one is totally pooped. I don't know if this is her longest hike. I can't exactly recall specifically, but it definitely is her longest hike under the hot, blazing sun. Temperature-wise, it isn't too bad, but when you're under the sun for 4 hours, it gets quite toasty, especially when you got a nice thick coat of fur. So she did great, and now she's gonna be nice and tired for the rest of the day, making my life a lot easier. All in all, that was a pretty cool hike. Also, if you guys ever have any recommendations for hikes, make sure to drop them in the comments below. I love to find new hikes in new areas, in new states, and beyond. My truck is rattling quite a bit. It's only rattling. I just noticed that it's only rattling when the truck is in neutral. When it's in gear, it's not rattling, but when it's in neutral and we're going over bumps, it's rattling away. So I'm thinking, it sounds like it must be something to do with my drive shaft. I mean, I just did the carrier bearing, so it definitely doesn't have anything to do with that. I'm not sure. I'm gonna have to get under there and fiddle around with things, that's for sure. This poor truck is starting to take a beating on this road trip. Good thing it's a Toyota, eh? I guess it's like an open range over here where we're camped at tonight, and there's some cattle maybe like 50 yards out, 40 yards out, and Kaya is really having to resist her instinct to go tried to herd the cattle. But I'm telling her, she doesn't know what she's doing. The cattle are gonna hurt her, not herd her. They're gonna hurt her, so if she knows what's best for her, she better stay over here. This camp spot was, to me at least, the epitome of the Sonoran Desert. It's exactly what I had in mind when I decided to head down to this region. Cattle, steel windmills, and golden desert sun rays. And cacti, of course. Lots and lots of cacti. It is freaking stunning out here. And also, look at this. There's a huge pile of firewood here that just got left, and it's begging to be burned. But I'm not gonna do it because, like I mentioned earlier, it is just super, super dry out here. There's also a little bit of wind. It doesn't seem like a good move. As tempting as it is, because that would just complete the scene. This would be it, right here with a campfire. Done. That's it. Can't top it. But alas, we're not gonna do it. Go ahead. Go ahead. Good girl. Somehow I always manage to park with the wind to my rear, which makes it a total pain while I'm cooking. Since I cook on my tailgate, having the wind just whipping from behind makes it so where things just don't really heat up properly. So that being said, the wind is very strong tonight. So I'm gonna, for the first time ever, try to cook inside the actual tiny truck bed. So let's see how this goes. All right, we're pretty much all set up to get going here, but since we're cooking inside, got a fire extinguisher handy, got my carbon monoxide alarm, and also the window is cracked. Let's get cooking. I'm running pretty low on food, and this was basically the easiest thing that I can make inside the truck. Freaking wild out there. I have a bad feeling that my Starlink blew off the roof. I didn't hear it per se, but my Wi-Fi, oh, there it is. Oh no. Should have taken this down off of the roof a long time ago. Well, fortunately, the Starlink is still working. It didn't break. If it would have broke, that would have just been devastating. I've been really utilizing the Starlink this trip, so I don't know what I would have done without it. But that being said, I should have definitely taken it off the roof a long time ago when I heard the winds. But for some reason, I just thought it was like low profile enough that the wind wouldn't catch it. But clearly that was a misjudgment. That one was for old time's sake. Well, the wind, as you have heard in the footage, it never died down. So all night it was extremely windy, but fortunately I was able to sleep no problem. And we made it through the night. Since it's so windy still, I'm just hanging out inside the truck. Even Kaya didn't want to be outside, which is pretty surprising. She, for the most part, when she's not asleep overnight, she wants to be outside. But that shows you, it's windy. It's dang windy. So we're just gonna take it easy here, and we'll be moving on from this spot somewhere else. I don't know where yet, but we'll figure it out. Anyways, that's gonna do it, folks. Thanks like always for watching. I hope that you guys enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll catch you in the next one. Peace. Kaya, say bye.